Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone all around the world. My name is Geoff Rasmussen, and welcome to Watch Geoff Live, adding a marriage record. You know, I've been waiting for this day for what seems like an eternity. I've been so anxious to enter these marriage records into my personal legacy family file, and usually I would just go ahead and do that, but I wanted all of you to be here with me while I do it. In our last Watch Geoff Live webinar, it was so fun having all of you by my virtual side. We all truly did learn together, didn't we? So thanks for being here with me. Now, I haven't practiced or made up any special canned examples for you here tonight. I'm simply going to take these marriage records and add them to Legacy just as I would any time. But tonight you're all with me to make sure I do it right. So this is how we're going to do it here tonight. Hopefully all goes well in our main session together. And then I'll announce a special thank you gift for our live attendees and announce some brand new upcoming webinars. And then hopefully we'll have another great question and answer session. But first, I've got a really special announcement to make. Write down these dates on your calendar. Now, this is the very first time we've ever told anybody this, so thanks for being here. But we're announcing this now about a year in advance because this particular cruise sells out very quickly, especially those of you wanting the balcony cabins. And from what I understand, this is the only, or maybe one of the very few British Isles cruises. So it will depart from Norway and visit all of these wonderful places and end up back in Norway. We'll be sailing on Royal Caribbean's Vision of the Seas ship, and May 12th through the 21st. So put that on your calendar. Start saving up a little bit, I guess. Give Christy a call. And there's her phone number. She's our travel agent who can answer any of your questions, or you can send her an email there. And we're going to be having a special webinar just for this. And I believe it's on Friday, June 3rd. Have to double check our webinar page to make sure about that. But Christy's just going to come on for 15 or 20 minutes or so just to give you a general overview of what we do on our legacy genealogy cruises and answer any questions that you might have. Okay, so here we go. Adding a marriage record. This is the general plan. We'll set up the Source Clipboard and add the new information. We'll add the source to the data using the clipboard. And all along, this is live, unscripted, and unplanned. So hopefully this format will inspire some new ideas or maybe solidify some of your current methods for analyzing and entering data. Now, before I forget, please help me remember kind of towards the end to show you William McCall's marriage record. This is something kind of at the last minute I wanted to show you as a different type of a record that we'll find online. So that wasn't in my initial plan, but I really would like to show it to you. So let's get started. And I'm going to switch over to, oh, not that. Let's switch over to Legacy. And if any of you remember from our earlier adding a death certificate webinar, this was our main person, so William Henry Brown, and all is well, and we're learning more about the family. Well, we're going to take a look at his father here today. Now, his father is only my half first cousin, 4 times removed, so we're getting closer to my full relatives. And if I look at my pedigree view, this is what it looks like. A lot of you know Asa Clark Brown. You know, Asa Brown, he's actually being remembered this weekend, Memorial Day weekend in Minnesota. They're actually rededicating his grave as part of a War of 1812 ceremony. So I'm excited about that for one of my ancestors. But let's switch back over here to Lorenzo Brown. And I want to start out by showing you his spouse's screen. Notice over here where I'm pointing, see my arrow over here on the left, has the number 5 next to it, meaning I've entered 5 spouses for him. So let's click on that, And this is what I'm starting out with. This is what I already know about Lorenzo's wives. He was busy or something, I'm not quite sure, but a lot of these marriages happened within just a few years of each other. Well, let me show you where this information came from. Okay, Eileen says she can't see legacy on her screen. Is anyone else having that problem, or can most of you see it? And I'll just see what you say. Okay. Looks like most everyone else is saying just fine. Okay. You never know with this new technology. Okay. So let's open up Lorenzo's sources screen. I just want to give you an idea of where the information about his marriages came from. So let's click right here. And I want to scroll down to the marriages section. And here you can see I've got Clorinda and Williams. I've got 3 sources for their marriage information. And Ida, a couple, and a couple for each of the others. Now, Deborah says she's not seeing it either. If what I've learned with our GoToWebinar software is if you're not able to hear or see, people have had success in just disconnecting and then reconnecting. Okay. Yeah, Roger, I like your comment. In the UK, we would call him greedy, having 5 wives. Okay. This is fun having all of you live with me here. Okay, so basically, I got the information about all of his marriages from a Civil War pension file. Okay, and if you look down here at the bottom, you can see the basic style of my source citation. And I added this, I don't know, several years ago. Oh, and Dean comments he would have had 5 mothers-in-law as well. Okay, great. Let's go over to Lorenzo's research notes. As I studied his Civil War pension files, I learned a lot about his wives and children, but it also left me with lots of questions. So let me click on his notes button here. And, oh, that appeared on my second screen. Let's scoot that over here. Okay. So in Lorenzo Brown's research notes, this is what I recorded, and I'm glad that I did. I did it quite a while ago. These are just separate comments that I learned from his pension file. First I learned that in 1915 he had been separated from Rhoda, his last wife, for about 14 years. From another document I learned information about his children. I learned dates and more specific names of his children in another document, and so on. I love this one, where he says he's talking about in 1899, talking about his children. The youngest is my own daughter. The 3 youngest children are all who have any claims on me, and owing to so much misfortune. So I've got all of these different children being born in different years, but Lorenzo having 5 wives, I'm not real sure, which spouse or which mother to connect him to yet. And so if I close this, you'll see that that's why I've only added currently William Henry Brown. Okay, and William was the person that we talked about in our death certificate webinar. And so hopefully if I can straighten out, these 5 marriages and when exactly they happened, now I'll be able to start putting the family together. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do this just as if you weren't here, but just work on my personal family file here, but at the same time I'll be talking my way through it. And this worked out pretty well in our last webinar. So before I go to the original records to try to find out, get copies of his marriage records, I first want to start out online, of course, to see what's available online. And so the 4 different websites that I've got here. Now these ones are for the U.S. and in this case because I'm working with these Nebraska records, but I would do the same type of thing for any of my other records around the world. So here for the U.S., one of my favorite places to go is deathindexes.com. Now where I'm looking for a marriage record, right? And so why would I be looking at death indexes? Well, because that's the website that's easiest to remember, I think. Now on the deathindexes.com page, you just go into any link, and the beauty of this site is it keeps a current list of all of the online databases that are of date, marriage records, death records, well, in this case, death records. I want to switch over to this link in the bottom right, which says Genealogy Records and Resources. And this takes us to the birth, marriage, and divorce records, or you can see some others here as well. But this is where I want to go, the online birth, marriage, and divorce. We're looking for marriage records. And let's scroll down to Nebraska. Remember, I learned from his pension records approximate dates of when he was married. Okay, so here's Nebraska, and I learned that he was married in Clay County. And so for Nebraska, I don't notice any specific links here for Clay County. I do see a statewide database here. It looks like it's at Ancestry, and he's listed the different counties that it covers. Well, it doesn't cover mine. You might go over, go look at the individual website, go over to Ancestry in this case to see if they have updated it for Clay County. I've done that, and so that didn't work out. Let me close this now. So I'm showing you this just to kind of show you what I would do before I go and get the original records. Now, I don't remember if I've told you this before, but I had a friend that's just started doing his research, and he quickly learned that his ancestry was German. And so you know what the very first thing that he did was? He flew over to Germany and started his research, going to all of the different churches, and he came home with all kinds of good information, and he showed this to his cousin. And his cousin says to him, "Why didn't you just ask me? I already have all of that." And so what he didn't do was the preliminary survey, and that's kind of what we're working on right here to find out what's immediately available, or see if others have already researched this. So we've looked at that one. Let's close that. The next place I'll go is up at Family Search. Hopefully all of you know about all of their records that they're adding online now. I like to just go down here and browse by location. You can look at all of them. Since we're working in Nebraska here, I'm going to just click on this link, USA, Canada, and Mexico. Just wait for that to load. Big announcement today for the Mexico 1930 census. It was just complete by Family Search. Okay, so these there's 362 collections of records, some with images, as others with just the data, the index. Here in the upper left-hand corner, if you just start typing in Nebraska, you see that it will just instantly narrow everything down. Now, if for some reason I say something that sounds like it's not right, please write in. Christine did a nice job of that for me last time. Because it's kind of hard doing this in front of this live audience, working on your own research. Well, let's go into Nebraska Marriages. And this is where you would just type in the ancestor's name and see if he shows up in the index. Now, let's give this a try. In my impatience, I worked on this beforehand, and so that's why you can see the names being pre-filled in here, showing what I have entered in the past. And it looks like I looked at this one because I can tell that link is a little bit differently colored. Well, I didn't find what I'm looking for here in this database. Okay, but make sure you go take a look at Family Search. And the next place I'll go and check is go over to Ancestry and click on the search button here at the top. Now, when you'll do that, this is just how I get to the specific localities, a little bit easier for me anyways. You can choose the different region here. And so here I'm on the USA screen, and I just go and click on Nebraska. This will give me an idea of what collections they have for Nebraska. I'm interested in their vital records, so their birth, marriage, and death. Now I see Nebraska Marriages shows up here. It doesn't look like there's a great number of them. Let's just really quickly see if there's any others for Clay County, for an example. And you would just browse this and see if there's something that looks good. Okay. Now finally,